So, I'm on the road right now. I'm driving. And by the way, I hate driving at this point. Not because traffic is shitty or anything, but I hate driving because I can't sit at my computer and do my work. But driving gives me the chance to reflect, which is also a good process. Yesterday, I spoke at a networking event, and I've been reflecting on this since then. Met a lot of very interesting people, a lot of nice people. I recognize something about myself, which is I need to clean up the way I speak. I use far too many expletives when I do speak. Now, granted, it comes from the people I grew up around. And when I say grew up around, I mean the guys I fought with and things like that, the work that I did. Because we have a far more intense way of communicating with one another, as you'd expect. I mean, we punch each other in the face, so, you know. But it's still something that as I grow older and mature, I need to curb. However, using the language I choose to use, it does reflect a sense of intensity, I believe, which is the point. Yesterday, I was asked about my motivation for creating Combat Matrix. And I talked about when I was in the UFC and I was still working 3 jobs, because, you know, if you play in the NFL, if you get drafted to the NFL and never even play, but you're just on the practice teams, your life is changed, you're set. But, you know, getting into the UFC, and like I was talking with a buddy of mine who's currently fighting in there, and when he was first signed 3 years ago, he made 10-10. And I think when I was signed 10 years ago, or 11 years ago now, 11 or 12, I made 6-6. So in 10 or 11 years or 12 years, whatever it was, the base rate has gone up by only $4,000 just to show up. And that's part of where all the outcry comes from all these fighters, all these sports, you know, combat sports athletes, about fighter pay, about athlete pay. It's because the UFC is making money hand over fist, but the guys who make them the money, the talent, those of us that, and I used this last night, crawl through miles of shit in order to achieve our dreams, and we do it willingly, well, we're not treated as we should be. That's something where, like, the PFL is trying to change that. Jake Paul getting on with them. Hopefully they actually do some good work. I'm interested to see what becomes of that, because I believe that, you know, fighters or combat sports athletes in general, deserve a larger piece of the pie. Like I think, for instance, the NFL, I believe their athletes like make somewhere around like 45 to 50% of the league earnings, right? Like it's pretty equal when it comes to the talent and to the business. And that's important, that the talent should be paid well, because the talent is what makes the business run. Without the talent, you have no business. also understand without the business, you have no talent because nobody's incentivized to work, right? And the UFC, they did do an excellent job of breaking MMA into the mainstream. And that was mainly done through The Ultimate Fighter, which was, a wonderful experience for myself as well as many other people. So you can't fault them for that, because they were the first, first in, best dressed, or something like that. But yeah, so they did a good job. But it still doesn't change the fact of the matter that now is a time where you would hope people would be compensated at a little bit higher rate than they are. And that's part of why we are building Combat Matrix, is to give athletes that platform to where they can make some extra money. Because they do need a platform for themselves that gives them the ability to earn something extra without having to use their bodies to do it. You can create your content and resell it. And again, it takes me back to last night. They asked me, what is my motivation? Well, my motivation comes from my own pain and suffering. And like I said, last night, I told everybody I was working three separate jobs, while I was still training to also fight in the UFC. And I did it willingly. I did it with a smile on my face, because it's the grind and I love it. And I'll grind for anything that is my dream. Doesn't matter how high the mountain is, how steep it is, how shitty the weather is. It's a grind, and that's what it is. And so what I've been reflecting on is, in fact, the grind. I woke up at 4 a.m. this morning. I started doing some social media stuff. I returned a couple emails. Then I had to get on the road rather early, because for my fiance, we have to drive up and handle some paperwork for a piece of land that she bought. And then we have to return. So it's, a day that I feel like I lose. And it rips my guts out. Like I said in the very beginning, I hate driving because I think it's a waste of my time. It really does tear my guts out, because all I want to do, all I think about doing is working. All I think about is the grind. All I think about is succeeding. I plan my steps to succeed, then I work my plan. And when I'm pulled away from that, it makes me feel almost a physical pain. And that's okay, because again, it allows me time to think on things and reflect. So occasionally you need to remove yourself just so you can take a breath, a nice deep breath, and take a look at the bigger picture. But it doesn't change the fact of the matter that tomorrow morning is at 4 a.m. This evening, I'm going to work. I have to attend my partner's birthday. I'm going to come home after that and work some more. At least hit a few emails, whatever I have to do before I hit the sack. Then tomorrow, again, wake up 4 and grind again. And I'm going to keep doing that. And I'm never going to to stop because I see my dream. I know what the dream is. The dream is to help my fellow athletes find new sources of income, show them a different path. And it's a long, hard road ahead. However, I'm going to climb that mountain with a smile on my face. Because the closer I get, the bigger the light at the end of the tunnel becomes. And I know once we have achieved our goals, we're going to change quite a few lives for the better. So, the grind is the grind, and I'm willing to put in the time, the energy, and the effort, and that won't change. We have ups, we have downs. I mean, lots of ups and downs. There's been many times where just the mental anguish gets intense. But I do it because I love it. I do it because I can see the future. And I know what we will provide once we have the next couple small tweaks into development, which is important. And once we get there, sorry, I'm still driving. Once we get there, things are going to start picking up and moving even faster. I can't wait for you guys to all see it as well. Anyways, that is enough for now. The reflections of a madman.